Hi, I'm Clay Cole, president of CHEST, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of The Inside Scoop, a communication platform designed to keep you, the CHEST member, current on what's happening within our organization. You know, so many times we join a professional organization, we pay our dues, we attend the annual scientific meeting and maybe present an educational session or a poster, and well, that's it. So many times we hear, chess seems like a great association, but how do I get involved? Or how do the networks actually work? And what does the Training and Transition Committee do? Or what is the Board of Regents? So the idea is the Inside Scoop will be an opportunity for you to hear from top leadership at CHEST, ask questions, and get the, inside scoop on projects and topics being addressed now here at CHEST headquarters. So in serving as your president, I've had the great fortune of visiting with our membership from literally around the world. It's been a fantastic opportunity to see firsthand how all of us are working hard to crush lung disease in our patients. And that's really what all of this is about. So just a little bit about me. I'm a pulmonologist. I also work as a toxicologist and occupational medicine specialist in Mayo Clinic up in Rochester, Minnesota. There, I chair the Division of Preventive, Occupational, and Aerospace Medicine, and I have a joint appointment in Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine. And I see mostly outpatients with inhalational injuries or toxic exposures, and I also do a fair amount of general pulmonary medicine. And on the research side, I also do altitude-related physiology in our hyperbaric and altitude chamber facility, including a prior major project to test and perfect the emergency oxygen delivery mask for the Boeing 787, which many of you know as it's called the Dreamliner. My participation in CHEST began during fellowship when I joined the Occupational and Environmental Network and eventually became a network chair and later chair of the Council of Networks. Then I participated 6 years on the Board of Regents and was selected to serve in what we like to call the presidential lineage, where we spend 1 year of being president designate and then a year of president elect. This year for me being president, and then next year I'd be the immediate past president. And that gives us a great opportunity to kind of learn the system, participate, and then have corporate memory the year that we finish our presidency. So my background has been strong in communication. I was editor of the college newspaper. I used to write for the Associated Press Wire Service, and during medical school at Northwestern in Chicago, way back before electricity and running water in 1990, I worked with a small team to create Pulse, which was the medical student section of JAMA. And this was a publication within the journal that represented medical students at the time, and that was later transformed into what's called MS JAMA today. So I do have that background, and I wanted to bring that ability to communicate to all of our members. And so here at CHEST headquarters, we recently opened a new Multimedia Studio, which we hope will serve as a tool to create a variety of digital products for you, our members. So many of you have taken the Pulmonary Board Review course and know that we sometimes, there's things that we try to teach didactically, like, acid-base disorder. It's really hard to do that from a podium with 700 people in a room. But we want to be able to take this Multimedia Studio and have the ability to do ancillary problems that you can go through and look at on your time until that epiphany light bulb comes on that you can realize, hey, I really get this. So the studio will allow us to keep you also on the pulse of CHEST activities. So as many of you know, CHEST leadership and staff have been incredibly busy creating, developing, and maintaining programmatic activities to bring education to you in pulmonary critical care and sleep medicine, hopefully to a much higher level. The vision for perfecting many of these activities has come from our Executive Vice President and CEO, Dr. Bob Musacchio, who joins me here today for our inaugural Inside Scoop episode. For those of you who don't know Bob, he's been in the medical association world for more than 3 decades, including serving as the prior publisher of JAMA while at the American Medical Association. And he's an extremely accomplished executive and strategist. He's been a leader with a steady hand on the rudder for CHEST staff members who now number more than 110 employees here. He joined the organization 4 years ago, and he ascended into his current role last October. So, Bob, welcome, and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Clay, and Greetings, Bill. Nice to see you again. As Clay mentioned, I've been in the medical association world for almost 40 years now. I worked at the American Medical Association for quite a while, where not only was I a publisher of JAMA, but I worked on current procedural terminology panel and a number of other activities. So I have, I guess, a rich history of working with physicians, and I can tell you that working at CHEST and working with this leadership and the membership is really an exciting opportunity for me.
That's great. Well, what do you feel are the most important accomplishments of your first 100 days taking the full reign of the organization, and what's your main focus for this coming year?
Well, Clay, it's kind of been a whirlwind the last 100 days. A lot of activity, a lot of things have been going on. But what I've been concentrating on is really trying to realign the organization so that we can strengthen the things that we do, be more productive, so that we can, crush lung disease, and deal with various, critical care and sleep disorder issues. So realigning the organization. We also, as you know, we developed the One CHEST concept, which is designed at breaking down silos and trying to maximize all the resources of CHEST that CHEST has available to it. Also, as we've discussed a number of cases, is that we're trying to expand and have a greater impact in the education of people who deal with these various diseases. So we're expanding our international activities. We've just launched a new international business strategy. We're planning for several events in 2019. We have a CHEST Congress in Thailand in April, and we have a CHEST Regional Congress in Athens in June. We're also not stopping in 2019. We've really been doing some extensive planning for the next 5 years, so stay tuned. We'll be announcing that schedule shortly. One of my priorities has been helping to secure the future of CHEST. We've just recently completed an environmental scan, which we will be disseminating the results of that to the membership. And we have just launched a digital strategy task force, which is focused on enhancing our constituent experience. One of the things that really has been something that I've been concentrating on is innovation. One of the things that attracted me to CHEST in the beginning has been the innovative and entrepreneurial culture of the organization. So we've been trying to not only innovate on an individual basis, but really instill that concept throughout CHEST. And lastly, and this is probably the most mundane, but to me it's, as the chief executive, is most important, is trying to focus on our financial performance. We're strengthening that, and as the saying goes, no margin, no mission, and we're working very hard on that so that we have the resources to have a greater impact on diseases that I mentioned before.
Well, that's fantastic, Bob. And, your experience, your calm demeanor and expertise is, I think, really appreciated by the senior leadership here. And we look forward to a great year here at CHEST in 2019. Some of you following my handle on Twitter, which is, at CHESTPres, know that we just wrapped up prioritizing and coordinating educational sessions for our annual meeting coming up in New Orleans, and that will be October 19th through the 23rd. So I have to say, mastermind and scientific program chair for this year's meeting, Dr. Bill Kelly, is probably known for his passion for education, and of course, many of you may not know, he's also the developer of our ever-popular game show at CHEST called CHEST Challenge. So, Bill, coordinating all those sessions really takes a team and a lot of organization. Tell us how the New Orleans meeting's shaping up at this juncture.
Well, Mr. President, thank you. It's an honor. Bob, always good to see you again. So perfect timing. Today we just finished up a 3-day Executive Scientific Program Committee meeting. 45 people from around the country came. These are clinically active subject matter experts, all the different subject domains. 700 submissions to go through, 45 different pulmonary and critical care and sleep procedures being offered. And this group is amazing. These guys are good. Now, I say guys, but about half the new program committee members are some pretty impressive women in science and medicine.
Yeah, probably the brains of the operation.
Absolutely. And this is and this 3 days is the 9th time in 30 days that we've connected, the past 30 days, to put together a meeting that covers our attendees' needs, has some educational surprises, and it's only February, and we're just getting started.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, Dr. Kelly, for those of you that may not know him, is truly an innovator. His creativity is really only limited by the amount of resources available and, of course, the time constraints on our CHEST staff who do a lot of that footwork to pull off these educational opportunities. So, Bill, I got to ask you, what new innovations can we expect at CHEST 2019?
Well, thanks, Clay. So, New Orleans, amazing city, the history, the food, the culture. It's going to be a great time. It's known as the Big Easy, and we're really, I think, living up to that theme. CHEST is going to go big and easy for you. The big part, more offerings than ever before, doubling the interactive exhibits. We have more CME and MOC than ever before. But that's essential but not enough. The easy part is we're making it easier for our learners. We're going to make their learning easier, their practices back home easy. And I think that does translate into our patients' lives being better and easier back home. There are about, I know this is a time-limited podcast, so we do have several dozen new initiatives. Some of them, again, fall into the big category, the easy category. There'll be a surprise around every corner. You might think you're free between sessions, but in that exhibit hall hallway, that convention center escalator, we're going to hit you with some stuff. Some things I don't know if we can announce. That the big two things. I'm getting the eyes from Lisa in the control room. I guess I can't mention it now, but over the next few months, we're going to roll out these initiatives, kind of build excitement, still keeping some surprises for you there, but more to follow, and we're going to keep the communication going.
Yeah, I know. I remember last year in San Antonio, we had, the roving reporter on the streets. Just a whole lot of fun, just a really positive buzz for that meeting. And I think we're really, going to continue that type of thing. And really, we are trying to, I think, get rid of the death by PowerPoint lecture that we see all the time at our annual meetings and really try to bring some fun things to scientific programs.
That's fun for the attendees, fun for the faculty to get out there. And then it's all going to be about the joy of learning.
Well, I think if I remember right, the deadline's coming pretty quickly for abstract submissions. I thought it was March the 15th. Is that right? And also, what should our submitters know in regards to, getting their abstract accepted? Is there any secret sauce that they need to put on, to make sure that they get their abstracts accepted?
Thanks for all the folks who submitted educational sessions. Just want to mention, we'll get you your feedback and acceptance decisions by mid-March. March 15th is the deadline for abstracts and case reports and clinical puzzlers, which are like case reports or clinical pathologic cases. Again, the Big Easy, we're going big. We want a lot of submissions. We're going to work with first-time presenters. For the case reports, it could be a medical student, a resident, or a fellow. We want that. We're doing some provisional acceptances. We'll work with you to, again, give everyone the best opportunity, especially those first-time presenters. Now, for the abstract part, the scientific abstracts, I think that's key. This is going to be the clinical medicine education session of the year. But to have that, you have to have good science. That's a big part of it. So we're hoping for abstracts, well-organized abstracts, cutting-edge stuff in every category.
That's phenomenal. I know you've talked a little bit about making things easy as well. Any things you can tell us about how we're trying to make the meeting easier? People are, stressed out in their practices and that sort of thing. Sometimes it's difficult to juggle family and other things. What kinds of things are we thinking about for this year's meeting?
A couple of things. We're going to reach out, first of all, extending beyond the several days of the meeting and the convention center walls, beginning with early registrants. Once you register, we're going to recognize some people with prizes. And it's not about money all the time or things. It's about time and your quality of life. So we're going to be surprising people with little things that make their practices and lives a little easier throughout the year. And at the meeting, again, we're going to make the learning easier. On-site childcare. I mean, little things like from big things to little things. Again, it's too much to go into, but I think people will be pleased.
That's fantastic, and I think the direction, the way meetings should be going, not only for our members, but to try to be an association leader in that regard. I heard something else about one of the innovations was, as we've been talking here a lot about innovation, but that we may try something this year that we're calling, I think, something like Fishbowl, which is, I think, a little bit after the idea of the Shark Tank model of presenting innovative ideas. So what can you sneakily tell us about that at this point?
Okay, again, I'm looking for Lisa's eyes, what I can give away or not. But and Clay, thanks for being an advocate of this. So we're calling it the Fishbowl. FISH stands for Forwarding Innovation and Science for Health for our patients. But we also wanted to set it apart. It is a competition. But again, this is a chest. We're welcoming. We're a little kinder than some of the sharks, so we're calling it the Fishbowl. An experienced chest, there'll be different categories. Preliminarily, we're looking at technology and then education. More to follow when we call for submissions, but people will be able to pitch their ideas in an abbreviated way, probably via a little video application or audition. We're going to select some people to come, compete with their ideas. They'll get free registration to the meeting, and then the audience and the judges will vote, and they'll get additional prizes if we select them.
That's great. Well, and for the people that are on right now, we're happy to field the calls, and we realize that that we may end up getting a number of calls that we won't get to today, or a number of questions, I should say. We'll still make every effort to try to answer those, and we'll add to our podcast in the archive version of it. So at this point, you can ask your questions through our Twitter feed, and also on the instant messaging on the call-in as well that was provided out there. So, well, Bill, thanks a lot for your incredible leadership and taking our meetings to the next level. I think we're really riding a positive buzz from last year's meeting in San Antonio. I know people are having a lot of fun, particularly our younger members who've told me how much they've appreciated the variety of learning formats, things like our serious gaming and the simulation sessions. I think we had 68 or something like that simulation sessions. I know they brought 5 semi-trailers down there full of equipment. It's just amazing. And the game show formats like Chess Challenge, I mean, that was just a whole lot of fun last year. It's really great to have a place where learning is so much fun. So with that, one of the other things that we had talked about for this first episode is that we are going to, what would it be without having you here without a Chess Challenge question, right? So we wanted to try to pull a Chess Challenge question and see if our online folks are up to the challenge today. So with that, what do you got for us today out of our library? Let's maybe pick a few topics and see what we come up with here.
Well, great. All right, Clay. So just to review, so it's the hashtag Chest Inside Scoop that people are giving us questions. This is also one of 2 ways you're going to be able to respond with your answer. The other way is the chat box on our conference call. And, here in Glenview, the question bank archives are substantial. It's almost hard to choose. We need to simplify a little bit. We could have a couple of main categories and then maybe pull some trivia. So,
well, I think you should why don't you give us a few of the possible themes, and we'll have Bob Musacchio here pick one of them.
All right, Bob, choose wisely. So we have again, it's so much obstructive lung disease. We could do some trivia on pulmonary hypertension. We could do critical care, general pulmonary physiology. Why don't you pick from those for starters?
I think I'll pick pulmonary hypertension.
Oh,
All right.
pulmonary hypertension it is.
Let me get my file out here. Okay, so great.
All right. So we gotta add the ante here. I think we're gonna, we gotta make a prize out of this, and I think we announced that when we were gonna do this question. So let's see, Lisa, are we giving away a chess registration for chess 2019?
Absolutely.
All right. So the first person to respond with the correct answer on this, and we have our gnomes in the side of the media studio here that are going to be trolling for the first response, the first correct response here. They will be getting a free Chess 19 registration. So with that, Bill.
All right. So for a free registration to the Big Easy, the pulmonary hypertension question. Let's go with this one. So, this pathogen is likely the most common cause of pulmonary arterial hypertension worldwide. We're looking for the most common cause.
The most common cause of pulmonary artery hypertension
worldwide,
and it has to be a pathogen. All right, we'll see what our brainiacs out there come up with.
They're still thinking.
They're still thinking? This is shocking that Dr. Kelly has come up with a question that not everyone knows the answer to. And I think anyone who's seen Chess Challenge knows that some of them are, and what always impresses me is that even though I'm sitting there going, what? The teams will come up with the answer. It's unbelievable.
The games do have increasing levels of difficulty, but the fellows that come to our meeting are so amazing. They get even those 500 and 1,000-point questions for sure.
The team last year, I think it was Emory, won last year. They had to come, it was like bottom of the ninth, and had to come back over the other two challengers.
It was a nail-biter, and that kind of live theater and educational value of the games is what we're going for. Oh, Lisa's just in.
I think we have a winner.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Okay. Do you want to do the honors?
No, I think it's all you here.
Well, wonderful. This is one of our social media followers and influencers. Actually, you probably know her and love her. So we have Rosie Kahn, at Rosie Kahn, DO, and she got our answer, which was schistosomiasis.
All right. All right.
Rosie, congratulations.
All right, Rosie.
Hello, Rosie.
All right. So that's fantastic. Well, the great thing about chess is that, learning is a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all of the innovations coming through for Chess 2019, and also to continue Chess Inside Scoop. We're planning to have these periodically, and I really encourage you to stay alert on social media because we'll be pushing out what the next dates will be for these. And the idea is we're going to be featuring different areas of the organization. For example, our important education committee, some of the other networks and the council of networks, and just a whole variety of things so that you get a pulse of what's going on within the organization. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Stay tuned for announcements for our next edition of Inside Scoop, and they'll be coming to you on Facebook and Twitter, as well as through the email and other platforms. So any other things you want to add?
I think we might have some questions.
Oh, we have questions. Awesome. We have a little bit more time.
First question is for Dr. Kelly. Will Man on the Street be back for another feature in New Orleans?
All right. So will Man on the Street be there? Cape and all.
The chest-colored blue suit has been pressed and is ready to go. So we're going to do that. And again, some of these things are surprises, but again, they will be that plus some other kind of ambush-style educational opportunities as you're going between sessions. So stay tuned.
Awesome.
And our second question, if I'm a cystic fibrosis RN, what sessions are best for me at the annual meeting?
So, cystic fibrosis RN, what is the best session for them? So, Dr. Kelly?
So, again, these past 3 days have been a blur, some great stuff. So, for you, I would mention we got some excellent cystic fibrosis sessions, and we're going to have that represented at the meeting. But for you as an RN, it gives us a good chance to mention that we are interdisciplinary, multiple specialties, but also truly interprofessional. We had this great focus group after the meeting last year and got into our nursing colleagues, all our advanced practice providers. We have interdisciplinary sessions. These are 2-hour blocks at time, Monday through Wednesday, where you really get into a disease state and its approach and management. And not only is the audience filled with clinicians of all types, but the people up on the podium and facilitating the sessions are also some of our non-physician colleagues and these advanced providers and nurses. And so there's going to be multiple different opportunities.
That's great. I even think I remember on one of the sessions for our trainees that there is a session on kind of a primer on how to negotiate your first contract. And I think there was going to be a lawyer and a kind of a senior physician and an HR kind of person. So it's not just even among the healthcare team, but I think there's some other sessions where we actually bring in people in other fields, and that sounds pretty cool.
Absolutely, and thank you, Clay, for mentioning that, because in addition to our sessions and Experience Chest, we have several different lounge areas, a wellness lounge, because we're into our member and clinician wellness, but in the training and transitions lounge for fellows, we have a whole slate of programming to include that kind of thing, and that also is interprofessional.
That's great. And did I remember seeing they were giving back rubs and stuff like that there before? We're definitely going to have to implement that this year. So anyway, well, we're running really tight on time here. I appreciate your questions. For those, I think we had a few more questions that looks like they're running over, but we will tackle those and add it to the podcast later on. As I said before, stay tuned for announcements for our next edition of Inside Scoop coming to you on Facebook and Twitter, as well as through the email. So from all of us here at Chest headquarters, we want to wish you all a very happy weekend, and we'll look forward to our future interactions as we prepare for Chest 2019 and all of the other courses that are out there from our sessions that we have here in simulation at Chest headquarters in Glenview, Illinois, as well as things like our pulmonary and critical care and sleep medicine board review courses, and the Seek products. We just got done finishing our next edition of the Pulmonary Seek book, which will be out before the pulmonary board review session and also available on our app. So any parting shots, Bill?
Chest 2019, the Big Easy. We're going big to optimize care for our patients. All the medical skills, procedural validation you need is going to be there. But again, attention to making your learning, your practice a little easier.
Awesome. All right. Well, happy Friday, everyone, and we'll talk to you at the next episode. Thank you.
Clay.